Running fans, jumping fans, throwing fans, all around athletics fans, welcome to Talking in Ovals. How's everybody doing out there on this Monday, April 7th, 2025? It is episode 134. Dave, what's going on, brother? Are you muted? You're muted. Unmute yourself, Dave.
My
You
bad.
are muted, sir.
I said
It's all
I'm
good.
just still trying to process what we saw this whole weekend. I know that we'll get into it at some later time, but I'm curious to it.
Tomorrow night, we will be doing an extra live stream to have differing opinions about Grand Slam track.
Not completely differing, but there are some aspects in which we do not see the same way. But we will leave
Not
that
completely.
for tomorrow night.
Yes. So, with that being said, we appreciate everyone that's watching wherever you're watching from, whether it is Facebook, X, or YouTube. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars, all that fun stuff. And if you're listening to this via podcast form later, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, wherever, please make sure you give us 5 stars and rate us over there. That is always appreciated. And you can find us everywhere at the socials at Talking in Ovals. Last week we had a fun show. We talked to Siani Wynn, and she was an absolute gem.
Wow.
Just great personality, great insight, very mature way of thinking for things, especially as she is a junior and has absolutely dominated the state. I had a blast talking to her, Dave.
I mean, it's just such an impressive athlete and an even more impressive young lady. Just her mindset, and I loved her tips for young athletes who were just trying to get in it, and you know how she talked about how as a young athlete it's easy to do too much, and how she felt COVID was a great break for her, and it kind of helped her to reset, because when you are young, you can certainly burn out really, really quick. So I loved her perspective, and just her view as an athlete for her age was absolutely astonishing.
And just talking about her family and stuff like that, it was great all around. So definitely go back and give that a listen. But I want to jump right into it this week. I want to get to our guest because we are continuing with the New Jersey greatness trend. We have this individual coming on, and we had his coach. We've had him on before. Let's bring them both in. It is Cole Cramer and Coach Scott Baker coming in here from Southern Regional High School in New Jersey. Cole is the New Jersey Indoor Meter Champions 55-meter champion this past year, and showed out at nationals, second in MOCs in the 200. Just an all-around dominant individual this year. Cole, Coach, what's going on, guys?
As much of you.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, everything is absolutely. It is a blast. Obviously, Coach, we've had you on before, and you're always welcome, and that's exciting. Cole, this one's all about you, though. Coach is going to hang out for a minute. We are going to get started right away because I want to ask you the question that we have asked almost all of our guests. When did you get the spark to not just start running, but to say running is the thing that you want to pursue?
That's not really an easy question, but just because when I started running, COVID immediately hit, and I didn't really get a chance to actually do it, which I'm sure you've heard several times with some of the newer runners coming in. But I would say that the first time that I really felt like running was a real option for me was 8th grade, and I won counties, and that was just like those are like one of the 3 moments in track that I've just like felt this is like one of the greatest accomplishments I could do, which is funny, even though it's like a county meet, and I've done several more things since then.
But when it's your first title, then that'll always have some special meaning to you. When it's the first time that you win something big, because winning your counties in middle school, I used to coach middle school, it's a big deal at that time. There's nothing bigger to you at that time. So winning that meet that's a great catalyst to keep you going on.
Yeah, it was at that point I was just like, football is the only thing I wanted to do, and I was just doing that because it was in season, and then that just like changed everything.
I mean, I just remember being in 6th grade, and I ran 6th grade in middle school. I moved to a place for 7th and 8th grade that didn't have track. But I just remember being in 6th grade, and like I was a decent miler as a 6th grader, and I remember running, and then like the 8th graders just looked like grown men. It was so weird. And then like you get to 8th grade, and then you're like, I am the grown man. And then you get to freshman year, and you're like, crap, they're grown men. This is weird. Like it happens that way. But that's my middle school memory, not as good as yours. I didn't win counties in middle school, but it's like, but it's funny because a lot of our guests it starts off with success, right? And I think that's something unique to our sport, where a lot of athletes they play team sports, right? In team sports, you can have success as a team, but it's different when it's just you, right? When you're relying on yourself and you accomplished it. So that's it's a cool moment. I think it's something that's kind of unique to our sports and other individual sports in that way. So you mentioned a few of your memories. Obviously, winning counties in eighth grade was a big one.
Yeah.
What are some of your other favorite memories you've had so far? Because obviously, your career hasn't been that long. You started in eighth grade. COVID basically screwed you for over a year, right?
Yeah.
Almost years for the most part. And you've really just been into it now for the past 2 years, right? So, what have been some of your memories as you've kind of gone on this journey of track?
The three like main ones that I have are my first Group 4 state champ against Rajan Dixon in the 55. That was
Yeah.
really important to me. And then winning Brooks PR when I flew out there last year was like those two were just like pure joy in the win. Like those are the core memories of that journey.
So, what was Brooks' PR like? Because that was a big meet, right? It's huge. There's a lot of fast individuals there. What was it like experiencing something at that level?
I mean, I went in like all business, to be completely honest. Like I was real quiet. I just was real polite. Just went up to my room and was just waiting. Everyone else was like out socializing. I couldn't do it. I was I was too like focused on the race.
Focused, yeah.
So
I mean, that's going to do you well in college. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's like as much of a joke and not like your college is such a bizarre place because you can be good at track while doing the extracurriculars, but the ones that become Olympians, the ones that go on to the next level, that are Diamond League people, Grand Slam people, are the ones that you hear them probably to a T. When everyone else was partying, I was sleeping. I was eating right. I was focused. And it's massive that you were able to be at such a environment where kind of conducive to like, I want to go and experience and go around, right? To like, no, I'm coming in. I want to do my thing. So Coach Baker, what about for you at Brooks PR? Were you out there with him for that race?
I did not get to go to him out with them out there. Kind of following along online, watching it going that way, but it just that's an expensive flight to take out there.
Yeah. So, Coach, when Cole's in eighth grade, obviously as the coach of the high school, we all know kind of who's coming in to our school. What was your kind of excitement level when you know that you're having the county champ come in? Because usually you've been coached a lot of great longer distance kids. So what was it like having a sprinter come in?
Well, I was at that meet. Is at Central when he won the 100, right?
yeah.
And I was watching it, I'm like, oh God, who is this kid? Like that was crazy. He just won that. So I'm like, okay, we got something coming on. And then his next year he came up and it was like Bruther and who else was on that team? It was
Jordan Reif, John Bruder, and Tanner Drexler were like the top.
So it was like some decent spinners up there. Like, okay, so this guy's playing with those guys. He's gonna have some fun with them. And then you just watched him become faster than them. I'm like, oh God. And it worked out well. Like those guys were like nice portions of the year to pull you along the way for your freshman year. But then there was no looking back from there. It was Cole. It was Cole's show. So it was cool. Like you coming in, it challenges you.
Yeah.
So, I could see the way, I can kind of tell the athlete you are just by seeing you, Cole. Like you definitely carry yourself in very similar to the way that Siani was last week in a lot of ways. There's quiet confidence. I could see that, right? Like you look like a very humble young man, but when you step onto that line who you are. Like you seem to have that quiet confidence about you. Am I correct? Is that something that in Coach Baker, am I reading that correct? That he's not
I feel like
he has that humbleness, but he knows who he is when he steps onto the line.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been described as that, but in my own home, my mom calls me a very cocky person, and yeah, she's laughing.
Hey, listen, in your home, you are allowed to walk around and say, I'm the greatest in the state. I'm the best in the country. That's the spot you want to do it, right?
You better be doing it.
And then you want to get to a point. Hey, listen,
I
once you get to the pro level, though, talk some trash.
I can win. I can beat him. And she's just like, you got to chill out.
Hey,
I love that. I love that.
Good job, Mom.
I love
I'm humble. I like it.
Is it? Do you like watch like Noah Lyles on the screen and you're like, I'm gonna destroy him one
No,
day?
I can't stand him. I really can't stand him. I think he's a great race. He's a great racer. His form is like teach tape, but I just can't stand him.
I'm with
I
you.
think he's amazing for the sport. We've had this
Yeah,
conversation.
he draws a
I
lot
think
of attention.
he is.
He brings a lot of viewers to it, and he's a great racer, and he's doing a lot for the sport. I just like I can't.
I'm with Cole here.
We need a villain. That's great. We need a villain. Sports need villains, right? No one likes a bunch of baby faces. You need some heels involved to get everyone interested. So, Baker, what do you feel about Noah? Am I the only one here that actually likes him?
I don't think he's a villain. He's
either.
quirky. I think he adds a nice little element to it. If my athletes were like that, it would drive me insane. Like I like the way Cole carries himself. Like he has that arrogance about him. Like, it's a little bit there. He's humble, but you can tell he knows he's that good. He does it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have that than Noah Lyles pulling up Pokemon cards in the middle of a race. Like,
See, here's the thing. I think high school and college kids absolutely should carry themselves that way, right? You're a scholastic athlete. You're not a pro. I feel like pros are there to entertain. I feel like that becomes the difference, right? Pro is entertainment. That's why Deion was able to high step, and nobody cared when Deion Sanders was high stepping, right? It was entertainment. It was great. You high step in college, it's 15 yards. Your coach back in the day was grabbing you by the face mask and reaming you out, right? Because you don't do that at the scholastic level. But the pro level, it's entertainment, man. You're there to entertain us. So that's why, like, for me, like, if I saw Noah doing this in college, I'd be like, bro, who are you? I don't care. You just won that. I was like, no,
That's
who you are.
fair. That's fair.
But at the pro level, spice it up. Like that's why I like Sha'Carri too, because Sha'Carri's not afraid to spice it up a little bit too. She's not afraid to come in.
I like
let
her
the world
racing a
know who
lot.
she is.
She's really good. I like her a lot.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I like Sha'Carri too.
Interesting.
There's good personalities. So
absolutely. So I want to jump in real quick. Coach Carl Torchia always watches our show. We really appreciate you, Carl, coming in with a comment saying Cole's a stud, short conference record holder, third best 55 in New Jersey history, one of the most fun athletes to watch race. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate that. And we agree with you as well. Coach Torchia is awesome. Thank you for always watching. So let's continue with you. Those were your 3 core memories. Do you have any other memories that kind of stand out to you over your last few years of racing?
I would probably say my freshman year when we placed in the 4x1 and meet the champs. That was really important to me because that was like
video said it wasn't.
That was like my first time being at a really big meet, and I just got to be around those guys that like led me to where I am today. And then probably my first meet of champs win this year felt really good. I got second the last 2 years before that, so it was just like a finally moment.
Right.
Finally say that I was the best at that, and then my first race coming off of my torn hamstring my junior year, because that was a really suspenseful moment for me. Like I didn't know whether I was going to come back as good as I did, and I did. So that was important to me.
Yeah, I mean you mentioned go ahead, Dave. You mentioned the
I was going to say, because I know Dave was interested. Oh, sorry. Go, Dave. We're interrupting each other.
You mentioned the team aspect. So, like, I know we've had a lot of our past guests on say how important that it is to have that relay experience with, with 3 other people on their team. Do you get just as much satisfaction, like you mentioned, in that relay as you would with something, for your individual?
I would say I get more satisfaction from getting a place medal with a relay because like it's not just on you. Like for 100 or 200, I can carry myself just fine. But when it's with a relay, it's like you have to work with those guys. You have to learn that, like the handoffs. That takes more than just raw speed. Yeah, so I feel like winning a medal with those is more challenging than winning an individual medal, and I appreciate those a lot more.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I come from a distance background, and if we're honest, the sprint handoffs are much more meaningful than in a DMR or a 4x8.
Yeah, they're like drag handoffs with
yeah. You really have to have that special bond and really know where your teammates are going to be at all times. So I definitely see the sprint relays as being such a very, you have to be really, really close with your actual teammates.
Yeah.
Does it help that it's such an individual sport when it comes to the relays? Does it help that like the sport is so individual in so many ways that when you get the chance like to actually be a team, it makes it feel that much more special?
I would say yes and no, because this year we have some really good guys coming in. Our team should be really good, and they're like putting in the work to be good. Um, Sometimes you have kids who aren't really willing to put in that work, and that's a little bit frustrating. So there's differing ends to it. Like I'm willing to put everything into it. I'll give you anything that I can for that relay. But if there's a dude who's only putting in half effort, that's just like that's a real just I can't.
Yeah, and it's real important too, because Dave, you had a good point where it's like for distance runners, we just put our hand behind us and grab the stick as the other person's like dying into our arms, right? Where for a sprinter, especially in the 4x1, you guys are also used to running the 200, so maintaining top speed is fairly, it's what you do. So that just needs to be, it's all timing, right? It's distance, it's timing, it's listening, knowing your teammate's voice when they're yelling, go, stick, like canceling everything else out. And, I have no experience with that because I was a crappy distance runner. So it's like there is so much that goes into that. And, I agree, especially for the sprinters. You guys need to put in that work and work your tail off. I always found it, cool to watch like the sprinters as they're getting ready at relay meets, like when they stand in that short line, it's like stick,
Mhm.
stick, like they're working on that, like just the timing and the touch and everything. Like there is a different element that's brought when it comes to sprinters. So no, that's really cool. And and I like that, you're a leader in that sense, right? Like if you're gonna be on this relay team, put in the work, put in the time.
Mhm.
Like we want everyone to want this as bad as I do. So speaking of that, Southern has had a fantastic track tradition. And even into cross country, when I was there, it was Danielle Toro, Chelsea Cox, Jill Smith.
Yeah.
And, we were talking with Coach Baker before this. It's been on and on. The girls have been great. The guys have also been really good. As a whole collective program, it's been really good. Does it feel weird that at this point, you're a Meet of Champions champion? You're somebody, you're going to Tennessee. You're somebody that, a lot of, the state knows. Is it bizarre that you are now one of the pillars of this program, or is that something you've always set out to be?
I mean, when when I was in eighth grade coming in as a freshman, I asked Baker what the 100-meter school record was, and I thought that 10.8 was like crazy good because right then I was running like 11.5 or what it
Sure.
was. So that was I was coming in with the intention of getting the school record. I had no idea what would come after that, but I wouldn't say that it's strange. I kind of wanted to be here, and I'm very happy to be here. What is strange is getting older. It doesn't feel that long ago that I was a freshman coming in, and now
Yep.
I'm less than 3-4 months from leaving. So
Yeah.
that's a little bit odd. It's a little bit surreal to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah. That's awesome. And it's like you have those aha moments, right? Like, that at nationals, that was like your last indoor meet, but it doesn't set in right away, right? Like you knew it, you felt it,
yeah,
you raced it, you competed, but it's like you still have races to go, right? You're not done.
yeah,
Track isn't over yet, but it's like, has that dawned on you that you're not stepping foot in an indoor track wearing the black and gold again?
yeah.
We're getting into the fields here, damn it.
So I when I finished that race and I lost by 100th of a second, that was already heartbreaking. And then I hug Kyler because I just like it was a great race and I was really happy for him. But like I
Yeah.
walk off to the side and I'm just like looking around and it just feels like a dream, just like looking. And I'm like I grab my mom's hand and just like shake it up here, and then I just walk off to the side and I just look at the wall for like 5 minutes.
Hey.
And then I slowly take off my spikes and just like, damn, it's over. So it's definitely set in that, but I'm still happy I got time left. But it was great. It's
Yeah.
just unfortunate I got hurt early in the season. I wish I had more time.
You know
But
what though? Just your reaction there is such a great testament to coach and the whole program, because you can feel your passion and your love for your school and your program. And it's, as a coach myself, that's what we aspire, that we hope that every athlete has that experience and has just that wonderful joy and passion for their school. So kudos to both of you guys, because there's just when you were talking about that, you could feel it, and it was a great feeling. It was cool.
So, Coach Baker, when you see that, the young man Cole's become and the success he's had and things, and obviously the successes he's going to have in outdoor, right? We're planning on him having a hell of a year. Do you wish that like COVID never freaking happened and that you had more time with him to just still cultivate more and more? Or is it one of those things where it's like it happened, can't fight it, have to worry about the here and now?
I've been excited to watch this whole thing unwind. Like Cole was always an athlete coming in, but then watch him how he developed over the years and the maturity he had over the last year and a half when he faced injuries, and how he just, you know, as when it was a freshman, it would set him back. Anything would set him back. And then now it's just like, okay, here it is. It's something we have to deal with and move on forward. And to see that, it's like, okay, so you want to see him run fast, and seeing those times and seeing the trophies come is amazing. But to watch him be who he is now and the man he is now, that's the best part about the whole thing, is to see the maturity of how he came across. And if he doesn't ever run faster than 10.22, which he's going to, I'd still say this is successful in terms of what he became as a man.
Absolutely.
So, Cole, talk about the injury for a moment. You tear your hamstring. That is tough, right? You're a sprinter. You're explosion. Like that is you. Like,
Yeah.
you talked about that, coming back from that a little bit, but really delve into what was the mindset going in. Like, obviously, like you do workouts before the race, you run hard, you do hard strides, but there's nothing like getting down on the blocks and actually relying on your muscles. That something you did before that without thinking, right? The explosion was going to be there. But what was it like getting into blocks, you know, set, and then like that gun going off? Was there a moment of aha, as like you're about to like pop up and nothing happens? Or what take us through that race coming back off of that, because that's hard.
So I was terrified, to be completely honest. I went down, and it was just like, don't think about it, because the more you think about it, the more it's gonna go, like it's gonna happen. So it was kind of just like an unconscious motion of just going through the race and just being like, oh, it didn't do anything, so I'm good now. So it was just a matter of getting that first one under, and then everything else just sort of clicked. But that first one was just scary before I got in. But once it was over like that, I couldn't recall the race if I tried to.
That's good.
What's that whole process like when you get hurt and trying to really focus on keeping that positive mind frame? And because like there has to be moments where you're like, I don't know what's like how it's going to be. Like what were some things that worked for you to get through that and to come back even better and stronger and faster than you were, which is a testament to everybody who's involved. So like, what was what was that whole mind frame like?
Well, when I first tore it, I actually begged him to let me race again, and I was in tears at the line. Like it was a rough moment, but not a thought didn't cross my mind of giving up or like stopping there. There was nothing in my mind besides get better. So I took the rest off. Well, I went to sectionals, tried to race on it there, and things didn't work out, so I had to leave before the 200. Then I took out my entire summer plans, put physical therapy every 2 days, worked out my leg almost every day. So it's just a lot of time goes into it. If you just stay on it every single day, it will go away. And that's why I came back so much stronger, because I was working out my legs like every single day during that summer. So in the end, the injury didn't really end up doing much at all. It was just getting back.
What was the whole mental process like during that? Like we're just stay the course. Like, did you ever think? Sounds like you didn't have any what ifs or that. You just said, "Here's what I have." Kind of like Coach said, "Here's what I'm dealt with, and there's only one way to go, and that's to progress forward."
Yeah, that's how it was. Like I'm at the bottom right now. It can't get worse. So I was in the weight room in the physical therapy, just lifting over and over again. Just like I'm drenched in sweat every day. I walk out after like 2-3 hours, and
Awesome.
it's just like it's a grueling process. I've written so many like paragraphs on just how like draining that felt going through that almost every day, but I loved it.
I mean, so what was it, did you lean on the relationships that you built within the program during that time as well? Like, how important was it to, have Coach Baker there, have your other coaches, have your teammates there? Like, were they integral to keeping you focused as well and keeping you involved? Or was it just a fully self motivating thing? Like, screw this, I'm not going to let this stop me.
Baker was really helpful right away because like once I said I
You don't have
couldn't.
to say it just because he's on the show.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it just because he's on the show. I'm saying I'm saying he like I was really debating whether to run my 200 because we had a chance to win the section because Fabian Gonzalez was still at the school and we could score like 40 points off him. And then if I win the 1 and 2, we score 20 more. So we had a chance to win just off 2 guys. But like I physically could not run. So I was like, I texted him. I'm like, if I run right now, this is something bad is going to happen. And he told me to just step away. So I think that was a really good moment from that. And he just like kept encouraging me to get better. So he just had the confidence in me to go get it done and come back stronger. That was really helpful.
So Coach Baker, what was that process like for you? Like, what did you feel that you had to go to Cole and to just, keep being positive, or were you kind of like, I'm here if he needs me, but he's a great kid and he kind of knows what he needs, like, because that's kind of a place where like, how much do we say, how much do we overstep, like that's kind of a weird place sometimes as a coach.
And on top of that, real quick, Coach, I just want to add, how much was there any moments, because I'm hearing Cole saying like, I was in the weight room, I was in rehabbing. Was there any time where you were looking and going, maybe I need to save the athlete from himself sometimes? Because that sometimes does happen, right? Someone as focused as Cole is going hard and it's like, simmer down, don't want to, because that, sometimes that's also part of being a coach. That's a tough part too.
knowing your athletes is huge. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, you have a pulse on what Cole's doing, and he was handling himself in such a way that like I check in with him, make sure he's good, and like, but he had it under control. Like he wasn't obsessed with it. We had conversations in school about anything. Like he would just joke around and have a conversation, and it would be okay. So it was never really focusing on just that, just focusing on Cole as a person, just make sure that's taken care of. And like I don't know, like yeah, when the coach that came before me, Charlie Speck, it was always like you coach the athlete to do no harm. You don't want to hurt the kid, no matter what you do. And if the kid's hurting, yeah, you could push him possibly through a race to do it, but why would you do that? Even if the kid said he can't go, like I'm not going to argue with the kid. I'm not his hamstring. You know, he knows what he can do. And through the course of
Yeah.
like Cole has been the perfect professional of handling things. What he came for advice when he had advice, that whether it was him or his mom asked me questions. He took care of stuff. He took the lead on stuff. I mean, the kid was driving an hour each day to go to PT. Like it wasn't like it was just a hop, skip, and a jump away. It was a haul. And he wanted to do it. And for him, his journey, his healing process, this is what he needed to make sure he was doing for him. So when he got in the blocks, yeah, I was nervous, like, oh God, could go bad any second. But knowing that he did it his way to get back where he needed to do, like there was a little bit of calmness in it too. Like, okay, he's ready. He knows he's ready, so it's okay. And then he crosses the line the first time, like, okay, how'd you feel? Like, and it was good. And from there, it's like, okay, you just keep moving on.
So I have to ask Cole, what was your favorite motivational song to lift to? Because we all have our angry song and things like that. What was your song?
Oh.
Pocket full of sunshine.
It's a great song. Okay, don't knock it.
I was just
Now he's
listening
thinking, he's like, man, if I answer this wrong, any of my friends that are watching are gonna clown me.
it's just like I don't listen to music when I lift. So like I can like I just go in, I count reps. I can't count with music.
Hey,
So
good.
I don't listen. I just go in and I just lift. One song that I
I
do
like that
like to
answer.
listen to is Teen Spirit by
Nirvana. It's a great
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Oh, look at that.
You know what?
Bringing in the
So
grunge.
many kids
You just
now
made Dave
are going
really
back.
happy.
No,
Dave
so
is
listen,
pumped.
no, but I see so many kids now love like 90s or like classic rock. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right,
I,
so
So Dave has a whole entire catalog of bouncing souls for you to listen to,
I
Cole.
do.
He'll show you all about that time and that rock.
So Cole, you
So
mentioned
go ahead, Dave.
earlier, like most kids who are sprinters young, football was your sport. What kind of changed that whole mindset and made you want to go to college for track and field?
um, I would say it's like my overall success in the sport. Like I came out of track just being good at it naturally, which I think is a lot of like starting for a lot of the professional athletes and like college athletes in track. So
Yeah.
after I came out and I just started winning stuff, it was just like, oh, I start to like this, and then I put in more work and I get better, and it was just like the equal return for effort was just like a sort of like a, oh, this is fun, and I just eventually just I didn't have to rely on anyone else to
That's what I was. Yeah,
get myself better. Like
sure.
for football, team sports, you have to rely on everyone on the team to win, and for this, it's just like if I put in work, I can win, even if my team doesn't win. So
Yeah. No, I always found it fascinating when a team like a football team would win a game, and there's always like 4 or 5 players who are just miserable because
yeah.
they didn't play well themselves. Whereas in track, your team's not going to win if you don't do well as an individual yourself. So like yes, like you are counting on yourself, you're betting on yourself, and I could definitely see that as way different than any team driven sport.
Mm-hmm.
And there's none of the politics, right? In track and field, like with sports, like with team sports,
Clock
there's a lot of
doesn't lie,
politics,
man.
right?
Watch don't lie.
There's a lot of politics in other team sports, and you could be great, but if the coach doesn't like you, like the coach can hate you in track, but if you're running the times
Yeah.
and you're
You're
not
running
putting
10
like some
2.
events, the other coaches would come to them and be like, "What are you doing? Where was Cole? Why wasn't he running? Why did you put him in the 4? He's a 1 guy. What are you doing?" Like it would sit there and be like, "It's great for us, but you out of your mind?" Like there's kind of like a gatekeeping in the community there. So, like like Coach Baker was doing, the clock don't lie, right? Like what you said, what you put in is what you get out. You work hard, you'll get better. That's just how it is. So we talked about Southern as a tradition, and it's been great. What are you doing as a senior to kind of foster that and try and keep that going, right? Because coaches can only do so much, and all coaches rely on their senior and junior leaders, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not freshmen and sophomores anymore. You know the program, you know what I expect. What are you doing as a senior? Not even just what you're doing on the track, right? Obviously, by example, you're doing it. But what else are you doing to make sure that when you leave Southern, that it is still going to be, you know, the program that you want to see it be as you're an alumni and things like that?
Baker actually has talked to me about this very recently because I'm heading up to an international meet. But I've been really trying to get the younger guys more invested in it, and I'm having a difficult time because I'm not as much of a vocal person as I would like to be. But it's definitely a learning process. I'm trying to like get the sophomores and freshmen and more invested in being part of a team and being a part of those relays so they
Sure.
can really get a feel for it. And I guess they don't have the same thought process of me as like I'm doing this to go to Tennessee to do this,
Right.
and they see it as like a route for their other sport, which is fine. Everyone can do that. I was like that at one point,
Sure.
and trying to like teach them how to be a part of a team and how to get better and like what you put in, you get out it's a difficult process to teach, but once they learn that, which I'm going to try to teach them the best I can, I think that they'll be really good. And I just have to get it through to them.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I
Is
think
it?
that's
Oh, go
one
ahead,
of
Dave.
one of the hardest things with our sport is there's so many different events and so many different, like the throwers are over here, the sprinters are over here, distance over here. So it's very, when you do get those times to be together as a team, use them, like, because I'm sure a freshman distance runner looks up to you just as much as a freshman sprinter, because you're Cole Cramer. You are the face of that team now. So, so don't just always say it has to be with other sprinters. Like you have the cachet to kind of talk to anybody on that team and to make everyone love this team. So I love that you're doing that. That's important for seniors to kind of do what they can to help, keep that program going on. And coaches love it because there's only so much that we can do. So
I just don't want
And
them to think of me as like another being, like they can't talk to me at all. Like there's a lot of guys who get those like big heads and then they just like don't want to talk to anyone else on the team. And I feel like that's a real big issue. And I love talking to the underclassmen because I find them really funny.
Drippy cheese.
Oh yeah.
There's a difference when you're talking to a group and you can see it in their eyes. And Coach Baker would talk about this and Coach Hyatt would talk about this because you can see just in the individual's eyes if they're looking at you with respect or not. Like you can see it. Like, and you could tell when someone's just kind of like listening because they have to, as opposed to actively listening. And it's better when it comes from a senior leader. I'm not even kidding. Like the coaches can say what they want till they're blue in the face. It's the same message and kids hear it. But when the senior and junior leaders are reiterating it in their own ways, like Dave said, you're Cole Cramer. They're going to look at you and they're going to listen, especially because you are more quiet and you don't say as much. When you speak, they'll be like, yo, shut up. Cole's talking. Like it'll happen. So no, I love that. I love that, you're recognizing what it is. For you, Baker, how tough is it to, you know, continue your tradition the way you want it to be? Because, you've continued Southern's proud tradition all these years. It's still one of the most feared programs in the state, all the time, conference and everything like that. What is the type of work that you put into it as a coach to continue that going and fostering and, creating
Just a
young
little.
men like this willing to do that?
It's just a little bit of work. It's it's exhausting because I mean you're trying to take care of Cole because he needs to be taken care of because it's Cole Cramer and you're trying to do that stuff. And then you're trying to develop the freshmen from slapping each other in the butt the entire time of practice. And it's like, okay, so I'm trying to get this guy to break 10 in the 100, and I'm trying to get this guy to stop slapping the other guy's butt. I'm like, it's
Yep.
exhausting. And it's everything. So like, at least like Cole out, he'll come in before school. We'll have conversations in home, and we'll pass each other in the hallway, like how we can adjust the workout, what's going on with the weather, what we're going to try and do with them, race wise, where we're trying to race them. So we have those conversations. So it's not just we're just at practice for these 2 hours. It's conversation via text or before school or after school, and we just have conversations about it. And sometimes it's about track, sometimes it's about just life in general, and or Denver Broncos and everything else. But it's the constant conversations, and that's what you have a relationship with Cole. Like Cole is the kid that he's mature enough to have an adult conversation with, and he's going to listen to you. He's going to give look you in the eye, and he's going to give you honest feedback. Some kids are just like yes to death and do their own thing. And Cole will have a conversation. Doesn't like something, we'll talk about it, and we'll figure it out. Sometimes he's valid and sometimes I'm valid, and just a matter of that clearing out where we come from.
Awesome.
I want to bring up this quick comment. Coach Robert Pickton, Coach Pick. Baker is an asset to the sport of track and field and the community of Southern Regional. Cole, you are the man. Thanks, Pick.
Coach
We
Pick.
appreciate it. Coach Pick's the man. He is. We've said it before. He's someone. We're getting Coach Pick on the show. It would be a hell of a time to have Pick on the show.
Oh my God,
We need
yeah.
that. It's crazy to think because I've known Pick since I was a littling because he's been coaching he coached football with my uncle for years. And my first memory of him is him telling me he was going to like bury me in the dirt. And I was like 5 running around, which, if anyone that knows Pick, probably he's told everyone he's going to bury them at some point. But, he's been around track and field too, just forever as well. And I would love to hear just his wealth of knowledge because anyone that's had Pick as a coach would know that beneath that rough exterior, he really cares about every single athlete he's ever coached, and he works his tail off to be a fantastic coach. And he is a fantastic coach. He's one of the best guys I've ever been coached by.
He's the best.
And he'll come on this show and just be like, "Quest, I hate you," but that's okay. That's how you know he likes you. Like that's the thing. That's how you know Pick likes you. So Pick.
So I have a Pick. Thank you, Pick. So Cole and Baker, I want to talk about. We'll start with Cole. What was the process of choosing Tennessee, and just kind of go through that whole process because we talk to people. It's a very rigorous process, that's can be extremely time consuming. So how did you kind of narrow it down there? And then Coach Baker, you can chime in, onto any ways in which you assisted, or was this all just kind of Cole's choice?
Well, I first was like my sophomore year, I reached out to Princeton, and like that's where I wanted to go. And up until like middle of my junior year, I was like set on going there. I Coach Glass at Tennessee reached out to me. I believe in late June, like right after the Brooks invite. So he invited me out to an official visit, and I had said that I was already like going to Princeton, and he was just like, okay, just come take a trip out. So I went out, and it was completely different. Everything was way different.
It's an SEC school, man.
Yeah, it was like going from the kiddie pool to the ocean. It was completely different, and that's no diss to the Ivy League, because it's a great conference and everything's great there. But I really wanted to be around the best of the best, and that's where they are. So just on the team alone, they had like 2 guys who were already going sub 10. So it's like, if I can just have them in practice, it'd be a world of difference. And then Coach Ross, who was like, he was telling me straight up, like, I'm going to be strict with you. And I'm like, okay, so you're already telling me what you're gonna do, and the standard you're gonna hold me to. So I like that. And then I went in. It's not that far from home for an SEC school. It's good. It's a really good school too. So it was just like between Princeton and Tennessee were like my main 2. I didn't really like. I looked at UPenn, Rutgers, Penn State, and just those schools, and it was just like those were the main 2 that I wanted were Tennessee and Princeton. And then it was just like deciding between the 2, and in the end, I like Tennessee so much more.
Now, did winning Brooks kind of change your perspective on that maybe the caliber of school that you want to go to?
No, I didn't look at Brooks as like a deciding factor of whether I would go to an SEC school or go to an Ivy League school. I just looked at that like, oh, it's a chance I get to prove myself that I am better than some of those kids out there.
Love it.
I knew that I was up there, but that was just like a defining factor. Like, oh, I do belong. It wasn't deciding my college for me by any means, though.
So you talked about those schools you narrowed it down to. After Brooks, did more schools outside of like Tennessee, did a bunch of them reach out, or was it just one of those things where you were just narrowing it down yourself? Like, and you don't have to give away like exactly who, reached out to you, but was there more of a door opened after you kind of kicked in the national stage there?
There was a couple SEC and a couple ACC schools. I won't.
Had to be a cool feeling, man. Had to be just a cool feeling of like, yeah, I know I want to go there, but this is pretty sick. Like,
it was definitely a cool experience. I got really overwhelmed by the experience really early, even though we hit it as soon as my sophomore year like started, and I still got overwhelmed by the time I got to like deciding as a senior. So it was cool, but also like I didn't need any extra attention. I was definitely fine.
What did you look for in the school? Like, what was kind of like, campus facilities? Like, what was something that you were looking for that was helping you decide? Because one of the things that any young athletes listening that we try to preach is, have a criteria, all right? Like, obviously you started the end of your sophomore year, so you were probably making a list, trying to figure out what you wanted in a school. What were your criteria that you needed to meet in order to even consider a school?
I wanted to stay on the East Coast, and I wanted a city school, but I also didn't want like a overpopulated school. You know what I mean? Like Penn State has an undergrad of like 56,000 on their main campus, and then 200,000 throughout all of their campuses, which is like way too much for me. Like I would get overstimulated from that. So I took my visit there. It was just like, yeah, not for me. And then Tennessee has like 36,000 on campus, or maybe around 46. So it's a little bit more manageable. It felt a lot better, and they just had a lot more accommodations for athletes and getting around campus. So it felt a lot more like homey for a city school.
That's awesome. What major are you going to take? Do you know?
Right now I'm going into biomedical engineering.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
So you're making your life even more difficult. Not only are you trying to be a national champ, but you're also trying to be a genius. I like it. That's cool. That's really cool. I always like it when I hear, athletes that are taking on some tough majors, going in the Gabby Thomas route, just trying to do some difficult stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cole, you have one more season left in high school. What are kind of your big goals and things that you kind of want to accomplish in this, in your final season here at Southern?
I hate giving marks as like a goal
Sure.
because
Yeah.
that limits me. But I just want to. I really want to have fun. Like every year, it keeps getting better, and I really hope that this year is just even better. So I came out last year being scared that with all the attention that I was gonna have to like be under so much pressure and it'd be rough. But it's just I feel like I handled it really well, and I feel like this season's gonna be better because now I got more of like a battle going on. So I'm excited. I want to win states obviously, and then hopefully I'll see what I can do on the national stage. U20s is going to be June 19th through 22nd up out in Eugene, Oregon. So that's where I'm going to be during that, and hopefully I can qualify from there. But
so are we thinking state record in the 100? Is that like the low end goal? Get that state record
that's an easy goal for me right now.
Hell yeah. I love that. I love that. See, like that's what I'm talking about. It's a quiet confidence. I freaking love that. Because you know what? We'll be rooting for you to do it. And I see Coach Baker over there. Coach Baker's like, tone it down.
Nope, not at all, man. Go for it.
Love it.
So how excited are you this year that you can go to nationals and not have to worry about missing meet champs? Like, is that something? Because I know we've talked to so many athletes who take such pride in winning meet champs, and is it nice knowing this year that you'll have the opportunity and it won't interfere with anything else?
Yeah, it's definitely good. I'm happy about it, but I'm also a bit concerned because it's such a close turnaround, and then you got to fly out and then run again. Like that's fine, I understand it. I'm excited to run in both. I was more worried about actually missing my graduation than meet a champs because that's the 13th, and I'm flying out the 8th and then coming back the 10th. So it'd be a close call.
All right.
So this could be for you or Coach Baker. I don't care, whoever wants to take it. In terms of race focus, are you sticking to the 100 as your main focus? Are you also trying to really go after the 2 because you're a really good 200 meter runner as well? And has Coach Baker convinced you to run some 400s in the 4x4 yet?
I'm actually going to be running a 4 this year at counties. I'm pretty sure, depending on the weather.
Nice.
He wants me to break the school record before I go, so that'll be fun. As far as the 200 and 100, I'm not really focused on either one. I just want to run my best in both of them. So
love it.
I'm not worried about like specializing in any event. I mean, I can specialize in college. That's
love it. That. Great answer.
How about for you, Coach Baker? Is there any grand scheme or any grand plan that you have with Cole, or is it, obviously you've beamed about just how great of a young man he is. So is it kind of just sit down, talk with him, pick his brain, work with him throughout the season and figure it out together type of deal?
We don't have the burden of trying to win the team title this year. We don't have that team concept because they're just trying to get the North Buzzsaw is going to kill us. So
everyone else too.
Yeah. So we're the beauty of it. Like we're going to pick and choose the cohort. It's going to be beneficial for him to run and stay healthy and run fast. And whatever events jump up at that opportunity, he's going to jump at. Like he's good. Like he's really freaking good. And
do we have any? Sorry, Coach. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
I was just curious. Do we have any national meets that we're looking? I know you talked about U20 coming up, but are there any like national meets that you're planning as a coach to maybe get them out and let them go and compete against some of the best before nationals and stuff like that?
He's going down to. Can I say that, Cole? Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
He's going down to Maryland to run May 3rd. Is that May 3rd?
It's May 3rd. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. I just like giving the fans, something to look out there for, because people should honestly, Cole, people should be following you. People should be following you because you're going to be, just like we heaped praise upon Siani last week. I think you're going to be another individual that people are going to want to follow. I think you're going to do some special stuff this season, some special stuff at Tennessee. You know, it's not every day you're going to have a kid from, you know, Jersey break 10 in high school. Like it's going to be crazy to see that when you go sub 10. So I'm excited for that to happen. And, you know, like I said, we're not limiting you. Well, you can go sub 9.5 too. Let's just do it. So screw Usain Bolt. All right. But yeah, no, that's really exciting to hear. So last question for you before I get to like the final question.
Mhm.
With Grand Slam and things like that, are you looking more forward to potentially becoming a professional?
Oh,
Post this with all the opportunities.
before Grand Slam was even a thing, I wanted to go pro. Like I love this. I love this sport with everything in me, and I don't care about the money. I don't care about the fame. I just want to do it. And the Grand Slam's a great thing. It's giving money to the athletes. It's giving exposure. It's a really good thing, but it didn't have any effect on how bad I wanted to be pro.
Love it.
I love it. I love this, the passion for the sport. It's really cool stuff. And the last question, we asked Coach Baker this before. I'm going to ask you this question. If you could change anything about this sport that would maybe make it more accessible, that would bring more fans in to love the sport the way you do, the way us four do, what would you change about track and field to kind of make it bigger, make it more exposed, get more money into it? Because I know it might not be about the money, but if you're a pro, you should be making money, right? You should not have to worry about where my training is coming from because I can't pay for it. That should be built in. So what would you change?
Is this for me or Bake?
Yeah, it's for you, Cole.
Oh, give me a second. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Have you thought of anything new in this meantime, Coach Baker? I'm putting you on the spot. We'll let Cole think. Anything new for you that you would probably add or change to the sport? No, I think Coach Baker might have froze.
It does look like that.
So you're back on the spot, Cole.
All right, that's fine. I would put more emphasis on actually high school track because I know in Texas and Florida, there's like they have like those big meets and they have a lot of like televised meets and like coverage on it, but you don't really see that in a lot of other states, and that might be why it's like the overall exposure on track is so bad. If we had that like exposure amongst the smaller states, overall popularity I think would be up. So that could be a way to get younger athletes involved in the sport and get it like over like in the U.S. too. It's like football is like the main sport everywhere, but in like Europe and like other countries across the water, like track is, if you don't throw a ball, like if you don't throw a ball, if you throw a ball, you're a quarterback here, but if you throw something really far across the water, you're a javelin thrower. Like it's like the difference in that is and why track isn't as big in across the country compared to Europe. Like if we change the overall like exposure of that, it would be a world of difference.
I love that. I love that. Just, get the exposure out there. It's fantastic.
Yeah, especially, because in this state, there is, meets every week, but I wish that we'd have more coverage on certain things that like in the newspaper that I feel like other sports kind of steal all of the coverage. So it would be nice to get more exposure to you and to every high school kid. I mean, like we need more Jim Lamberts out there, doing all these things for all these high school kids and making it work, or Robert Kellert, like we know these people out there to keep going and to make it as big as it can so that you guys get more recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it's exciting. Did we get Coach Baker back?
Yes.
See. Is he back? Coach, you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can't see you, but that's okay. We're about to wrap up anyway. There you are.
Sorry.
There you are.
That phone died middle of it. Like, oh my goodness. Like, what happened?
You pulled a Lambert on us. Lambert, his computer dies every time we talk to him, and he sprints from his downstairs hub where he never plugs it in up to his kitchen. There's always something that goes on with Lambert. But
well, I'm in my kitchen too. Oh my gosh, just compare me to Lambert.
You are now you're Lambert 0.0. Anyway, so we're gonna wrap it up there.
Well, we have one more question from Coach Torchia, and it's
yes, one more. This is for
Coach Baker. Here you go, Coach.
Oh God.
Carl. What are we doing, David? Tell you.
There we go. It says, is Baker looking forward to being the next short conference president or short coaches president?
Actually, funny story, because Carl was talking about how excited he was doing that, and I was just going to be his vice president. Okay. But he's already signed up for it, ready to go.
There you go, guys.
I love it. So we are getting out of here. Cole, Coach Baker, thank you guys so much for jumping on. This was
Guys, thank you.
lots of fun as always. Once again, he is Cole Cramer. He is the reigning 2025 New Jersey Indoor Meter Champions, 55-meter champion. And Coach Baker is the head coach over at Southern Regional Track. We'll be back next week with a lot more fun, more New Jersey. We're sticking more New Jersey, some more great athletes coming over here. Wherever you watched, Coach Torchia jumping in with the false. Well, you guys can handle that one later. Wherever you watch from, we appreciate it, whether it is YouTube, Facebook, or X. Make sure you go like, share, follow, subscribe. If you're listening to this via podcast, please leave us 5 stars, spread this word of mouth, and we'll be back next week